Hi, welcome back to Moose and Chemistry. This is SI Unit's Significant Figures Problem Lesson 1. Let's review the 5 rules of significant figures. All non-zero numbers are significant. All zeros between non-zero numbers are significant. All zeros in front of a non-zero number are not significant. All zeros to the right of a non-zero captured by a decimal are significant. All zeros to the right of a non-zero number not captured by a decimal are not significant. Okay, let's look at the first number here, 1,000. This 1,000 has one significant digit. And the reason why that is, look at rule number 5. Okay, rule number 5 right here says that all zeros to the right of a non-zero number not captured by a decimal are not significant. There is no decimal there. Okay, so let's look at the next one, 2,345. Well, there are 4 significant figures here, and we're going to use Rule 1 to justify this. Rule 1 says that all non-zero numbers are significant. All those numbers there, 2, 3, 4, 5, are non-zero numbers. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Now the next one has 9 is significant, that 0 is significant, that 0 is significant, and that 1 is significant. Well, we got a couple things here. So we got 4 sig figs here, as we call them, and a couple rules are going to play here. Rule number 1 says that all non-zero numbers are significant. So the 9 and the 1 are significant. And look at the next rule here. The next rule says that all zeros between non-zero numbers are significant. So that would be rule 2. So there are 2 rules that would help us to determine that there are 4 significant figures here. Okay, let's look at the next one. There are 3 significant figures in 3.00. Well, the 3 is significant by rule number 1, of course. And these zeros are captured by a decimal. So rule number 4 also applies. So these zeros here are significant according to rule number 4. All right, let's look at 5.05. There are 3 significant figures here. Rule 1 talks about these 5s here. All non-zeros are significant. And that 0 right there is significant because of rule number 2. All zeros between non-zero numbers are significant. So in the first one we had 1 sig fig. In the second one we had 4 sig figs. In the third one we had 4 sig figs. In the fourth one we had 3 sig figs. In the fifth one we have 3 sig figs. So let's look at these numbers down here. 57,300. Okay, first of all, this, and this. These are significant, right? So there are 3 sig figs. This is because of rule number 1. All non-zero numbers are significant. These 2 zeros, on the other hand, right here and right here, all zeros to the right of a non-zero number not captured by a decimal are not significant. So they're not significant according to rule number 5. Okay, so let's count the number of sig figs in this next one. This looks like 10,001. Okay, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 sig figs in this. Okay, for a lot of reasons. Rule number 1 states that all non-zeros are significant. So these 1s are significant. Rule number 2 says that all zeros between non-zero numbers are significant. So these 3 zeros are significant because of rule number 2. And then rule number 4 says that these 2 zeros are significant because what it says is all zeros to the right of a non-zero number captured by a decimal are significant. So they are definitely significant. Now, we got 5 significant figures on this one. And that's because of rule number 1. Rule number 1 states all non-zero numbers are significant. Okay, in this one, we only have one sig fig, and that is because of rule number 3. All zeros in front of a non-zero number are not significant. So all those zeros in front of that 9 are not significant. Okay, last but not least, okay, first of all, we have 2 sig figs here in this last problem. Number 1 is significant because of rule number 1, and this 0 right here is also significant because of rule number 4. It says all zeros to the right of a non-zero captured by a decimal are significant. So that 1 is the non-zero number. There's your decimal. So that 0 after the 1 is significant. So in this case, we have 3 sig figs. In this case, we have 7 sig figs. In this case, we have 5 sig figs. In this case, we have 1 sig fig. In this case, we have 2 sig figs. All right. Well, that's it for this lesson, guys. You be snarly, and we'll see you back here at Musin Chemistry.